Straight ahead on CCX News, video released on the chase that Robbinsdale police say could have ended much worse. Plus, addressing a skilled labor shortage and the Plymouth company that may have some answers. And then the Osseo Police Department's mission to honor its history. It's a mission that will take them to the nation's capital. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Newly released dashcam video from Monday's police chase in Robbinsdale shows how a driver ended up colliding with a school bus.
The suspect is a 28-year-old Columbia Heights man who has not yet been charged, and we get an update from Eric Nelson. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, the chase lasted approximately 3 minutes. In that brief time span, the driver caused minor injuries to 5 students on the bus, plenty of damage, and created havoc on some major Robbinsdale roadways.
It's a pretty crazy one. This guy totally had total disregard for the public safety of anybody else, and that's, you know, from the very beginning when the officer first came upon him, pulling out into traffic, striking vehicles, driving across medians.
The entire incident was captured on dramatic dashcam video. A Robbinsdale police officer approached a man on northbound Highway 100 Monday morning. The encounter was anything but routine. The driver sped off quickly, veering into rush hour traffic, clipping cars, and cutting across the highway, then going through the snow onto a frontage road.
This person was definitely out of control, definitely a menace on the roadways, and that's why the pursuit had to continue, because it was a greater public safety threat to let him continue on.
The chase continued southbound on County Road 81. Then the driver went west on 42nd Avenue in the wrong direction. Finally, he collides with a school bus at 42nd and Quail. In his wake, the suspect left a trail of destruction that even left Robbinsdale Police Chief Jim Franzen amazed.
Even at the point where he wasn't being pursued, another witness still saw him driving erratically, taking trees out of the center median, taking down a road sign, and driving head-on into traffic.
A total of 3 officers were involved in the pursuit. Their job was to balance public safety while chasing an unpredictable driver in traffic.
I think they did a very good job of alerting the public to what was going on, keeping safe distances when they could, and doing everything that they could to attempt to get the driver to pull over.
Now, the suspect has not yet been formally charged, but when that happens, the charges are expected to be DWI, fleeing police in a motor vehicle, and criminal vehicular operation of a motor vehicle. Mike?
All right, Eric, thank you. A famous Chicago hot dog chain wants to call Maple Grove home, but there's now questions whether it could happen. Portillo's wants to open a restaurant in the shops at Arbor Lakes, and the new restaurant would be built on a parking lot next to the building that houses Talbot's and Joseph A. Bank clothing stores. One big concern about the project is a shortage of parking. So much so, one of the owners of Punch Pizza spoke out against it. The Maple Grove Planning Commission also raised some concerns, and it'll be up to the Maple Grove City Council to decide whether to give approval.
Score one for Plymouth this year in bragging rights in its friendly rivalry with the city of Edina.
Just last week, we received the new 2017 data that shows Plymouth now has the lowest tax rate. We also beat them in hockey, high school hockey, too.
Plymouth Mayor Kelly Slavic was the main speaker for the annual State of the City address. This year, the event was held at Smith's Medical to highlight the city's growth in med tech. Plymouth is home to more than 53,000 jobs, making it the 4th largest economy in the state, behind only Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Bloomington. As far as what to expect in the year ahead, the mayor highlighted the redevelopment of the Four Seasons Mall, with construction expected to begin this spring. Construction will also take place on County Road 24 between Olive and Jewel lanes. The project includes adding a lane in each direction, and work will continue on the Northwest Greenway Trail, which by next winter will be about 2/3 complete. Here's a pressing issue ahead for employers: how to find enough skilled workers to keep the economy growing.
There are already shortages and likely to be more. And one program that's been tried out in the Northwest Metro could offer some answers as state labor officials look to expand. In Plymouth, a company known for building flour mills and the equipment that makes Swiss chocolate brought the idea of a dual training program with them from Switzerland.
In Switzerland, we have actually an apprenticeship program which is for over 100 years in business, and we started here in Plymouth in 2012.
An apprenticeship at Buehler Incorporated offers on-the-job training for several months out of the year with classroom instruction at Dunwoody College.
We have to ensure, of course, that we have for the future skilled laborers. And of course, we don't want to steal employees away from each other. That wouldn't be really good business practice.
19-year-old Issa Brady is one of 17 apprentices working at Buehler as part of a 3-year program.
You could be an electrician, you could be a mechanic, you could work in flour mills, chocolate, brewing, like anything really.
What's more, Issa's tuition is paid by the company and she gets a paycheck for her work. In return, companies get a loyal worker.
You end up with no debt, so you wouldn't even have to be that worried about them not giving you a job, but instead you do. You get a job and you don't have any debt, you're getting paid the whole time.
State officials are trying to make an apprenticeship program work for other employers by expanding a program called the Pipeline.
We take entry-level workers in. We use the grants to fund their education in 2-year schools. We've got people that have gone from the 2-year to the 4-year.
Mitch DeYoung chairs the Northwest Metro Manufacturers Consortium and made the case before a Senate committee.
We're not about trying to find jobs for people. We're trying to find careers for people, and this Pipeline grant really helps us get the education to people that can learn it.
The proposed legislation calls for spending $500,000 in each of the next 2 years to work with more employers around the state.
The Osseo Police Department is preparing for a trip to our nation's capital this spring to honor one of its own killed in the line of duty more than 100 years ago. In 1916, Osseo's village marshal James Gardner was shot to death after responding to a domestic dispute. Osseo's current police chief, Shane Michelson, recently learned that Marshal Gardner's name is not on the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. That wall recognizes the names of more than 20,000 officers killed in the line of duty. In May, all 5 of Osseo's full-time police officers will travel to D.C. to see Marshal James Gardner's name put on that wall.
He was never recognized nationally as somebody who laid his life down for the public. And now he's going to be inscribed. We do not have, as far as we know, anyone that's a direct relative of Village Marshal Gardner, and so we are moving forward with being there for him.
The police department has raised $7,000, which will cover trip expenses, as well as part-time officers to cover the work shifts while they're gone. Coming up, psychology for the 21st century. See how a Maple Grove psychologist is changing her practice.
Then later in sports, Wayzata is shooting for its first trip to the state boys basketball tournament in nearly 60 years.
But first, sunshine and a lot of disappearing snow on Wednesday. We'll be right back. Every day we face a number of different things that bring stress into our lives, from family to work to being stuck in traffic.
Schedules can be so packed that it can be difficult for people in need of professional help to make time for a counselor. And in today's Health Check report, Elaine Cleveland shows us what a Maple Grove woman is doing to make therapy more accessible.
Lisa Herman is a hard-working wife and mother, but when she's not spending time with her family,
take a deep breath in through our nose.
This licensed clinical psychologist uses her home to conduct therapy sessions with patients.
Anywhere that can fit in your day.
Except her patients don't come to her home. Instead, she treats them by video conference, which this demonstration shows.
We're bringing therapy to you on your time, in the comfort of your home, in the comfort of your surroundings.
Herman recently launched the website Synergy eTherapy as a way to provide mental health care for people on the go or for those not comfortable with the traditional clinic setting.
Maybe somebody has a lot of anxiety, and just the thought of going into a clinic can be really overwhelming. So this takes out that barrier to getting health care and getting access to mental health care.
This model, however, is not the best fit for people who are suicidal or who engage in dangerous behaviors.
For people who are having a pretty severe issues at the time, we do recommend they see their doctor, their psychiatrist, or a therapist or psychologist in the office. It's going to be a better fit.
So far, Synergy eTherapy only has a few therapists on board to offer counseling, but as this eTherapy model grows, Herman is hoping to increase that number and recruit more patients in the process.
Some people only need a couple sessions. Some people like to go a little bit longer. There's no right or wrong. So it is a joy to watch people thrive and improve who they are and become their best self.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
At Park Center High School today, students filled the halls with pirate pride.
Leading the way, and classmates looking on, the Park Center girls basketball team got their own parade. This year was another remarkable run for the team, earning their 4th consecutive trip to state. 2 Park Center seniors who were part of those teams say it gets better every time.
It was really fun, especially to see all the support throughout our school is just really awesome. Being at senior year, we want to end off on a good note, so this one really is very special.
So how did the game go? Up next, John Jacobson will have the highlights of the Pirates state quarterfinal game today against Eastview.
Plus, top seed Hopkins meets Lake Conference rival Minnetonka in another girls basketball quarterfinal. Again, John is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Hopkins girls basketball team really had to battle to win the Section 6 4A title game, rallying past Wayzata. The top-seeded Royals faced another Lake Conference team, Minnetonka, in the state quarterfinals Tuesday morning, and the Royals will force a turnover early. Raina Suggs takes it in for a layup and an early 9-4 Hopkins lead. Delayla Chacolas is a good outside shooter. She hits a 3 to extend the Hopkins lead to 10 points. Paige Beckers has a big game for Hopkins. She'll take the pass and score in the lane to put Hopkins up 34-16. Beckers starts a drive and drops the pass off to Angie Hammond for 2 of her 10 points. Hopkins leads by 19 at halftime, 44-25. More of the same in the second half. The Royals maintaining their lead. Beckers scores 31 points in the game. Hopkins improves to 30-0 on the season with a 76-57 win over Minnetonka. Park Center is in the state tournament for the 4th straight year, 2 in Class 3A and the last 2 in Class 4A. The Pirates met number 4 Eastview in the 4A quarterfinals. It was a great game, but Park Center loses in overtime, 75-65. Michaela Hayes had 23 points. Ann Simonet 19, but they couldn't overcome Eastview, and the Lightning win it in OT, so it puts Hopkins against Eastview into the semifinals Thursday at 6 p.m. at Williams Arena. Park Center goes to consolation play. They'll play Minnetonka Thursday morning at 10 at Concordia University in St. Paul. Section champions will be crowned this week in boys basketball. The Wayzata Trojans are hoping to accomplish something that hasn't been done at their school in a long time. The Trojans are tuning up for Wednesday's Section 6 4A title game against Hopkins. Wayzata's 25-3, and they're the number 1 seed in the section. They led St. Louis Park by just 2 points at halftime of their semifinal game, but held the Orioles to 14 points in the second half on their way to a blowout win. The Trojans split 2 games with Hopkins this season and also beat the Royals once last year. Wayzata is hoping to reach the state tournament for the first time since 1959. That Trojans team won it all. While Hopkins has been long dominant, the Trojans say they don't fear the Royals.
We're the underdogs kind of, and we can just go out there and play, and all the pressure's on Hopkins. So, I mean, if we're the only people that believe we can beat Hopkins, I think that's to our advantage.
These past 2 years, we've really come out of our shell, and we beat them twice now. And I think that all that intimidation is kind of behind us now. I think we're definitely equal teams, if not, we've got the upper hand. So
our guys have heard that a lot with not beating them for 25 years, and I don't know if our guys even care. I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a 1 game. It's 2 high school basketball teams, and it's a basketball game. It has nothing to do with what's done in the past or what's going to happen in the future. It's whoever plays better that night is going to win.
Wayzata and Hopkins play at 7 o'clock Wednesday night at Osseo High School. You can see the game live on CCX channels 12 and 799 and online at ccxmedia.org. Wayzata's boys hockey team bounced back from a tough regular season to qualify for last week's state tournament. On this week's Sports Jam show on CCX, Jay Wilcox profiles the Trojans goalie, Reid Waszczenko. Here's a bit of what you'll see.
Like for baseball pitchers, goalie won-loss records can be deceiving. But Waszczenko's 113-1 regular season mark was an eye-opener, but long forgotten by the end.
I thought the season was going to be better than what it turned out to be, especially with one win. But I think it was just key for me to just keep coming every day with that determination and just keep working my tail off here. And then near the end of the season, as we were putting pucks in the net, playing good defense with me in that at least, and I started to feel confident. I think everybody is starting to rally around that.
Watch the rest of the Waszczenko story and plenty of section basketball highlights on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. Coming up live tonight, Tuesday on CCX, live coverage of the Section 5 4A boys basketball semifinals, Osseo Park Center at 5, and top seed Champlin Park against Mounds View at 7. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Up next, the day for mathematicians and foodies alike to celebrate pi.
We'll be right back.
And finally, today is March 14th, or 314. It's also when mathematicians celebrate the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter, which is approximately 3.14.
I remember that, yeah. Pi Day, as it's called, has also become a bit of a marketing opportunity for things that we might associate with pi.
Today for Pi Day, since it's 3.14, we are taking 314 off of all of our traditional flavored pies here. So we have blueberry and apple and cherry pies, all available for 314 off.
So Whole Foods has their take and bake pizza pies on special, and Hy-Vee also has Pi Day savings on their cream pies, both banana and chocolate, as well as their pizza pies.
On the pizzas, they're actually marked with a fuel saver, and you can get them for as low as $6 with your Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Perks card. So it's actually significant savings just in several different areas for all those delicious pie-related items.
So at either market, you can pick up a special dinner and dessert, all on sale in honor of Pi Day. And so there's some marketing folks.
Yeah.
If you have pie in your product, they're not missing the opportunity.
No, they're not at all.
That'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again on Wednesday, starting at 4 o'clock.